You know, we toss the word random around all the time, but what does it really mean for something to be truly random?
Right.
And maybe even more interesting, how can we tell when something is deliberately not random? You know, when it has some kind of intentional design.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're taking a deep dive into exactly that idea, looking at it from two, well, really different angles.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is that this deep dive is going to reveal two pretty distinct forms of non-randomness.
Okay.
And understanding the difference is actually key to navigating, well, all the information we see every day. One's about statistical unpredictability, you know.
Right, the numbers side.
Exactly. And the other, it's about purpose, about finding profound meaning. Very different.
Okay, so let's kick off with the technical side then. When we talk about digital randomness, how does a service like, say, random.org actually get to true randomness, especially in a world built on algorithms, on predictable code?
Yeah, good question.
How do they avoid just being, pseudo-random?
Well, the core distinction, it's between what we call true random number generators, TRNGs,
Okay.
and pseudo-random number generators, PRNGs. Now, PRNGs are basically deterministic algorithms. They look random, sure.
But they aren't really.
Not fundamentally. If you knew their starting point, their seed, you could predict every single number they'll produce.
Right.
TRNGs, though, they're different. They get their randomness from genuinely unpredictable physical stuff.
Like what?
Things like atmospheric noise, static, or even radioactive decay. Stuff that is truly non-deterministic, impossible to predict.
And random.org, if I'm remembering this right, it actually harnesses something like faint radio static, that atmospheric noise.
That's the one.
From places like Copenhagen and Dublin. And it converts these tiny, unpredictable changes into, something like 12,000 bits per second of genuinely random data.
Yeah, over 12,000 bits. It's amazing, really.
It feels almost, poetic, that the chaos of the universe can give us something so precise, so essential for our digital lives.
It really does. And this isn't just like a technical curiosity.
Yeah.
It means the security of your online banking.
Yeah.
The fairness of a lottery, the integrity of scientific simulations. It literally hinges on collecting cosmic static.
Wow.
And that's why independent bodies, like Ecocherry and TST, they rigorously check random.org's numbers for these critical uses.
Yeah.
It just emphasizes that true randomness, the kind from these unique physical processes. It's a finite resource. It's valuable.
That's a really fascinating look at the hidden order behind digital randomness. But what if we told you there's another kind of non-randomness entirely? One that has, nothing to do with statistics or bits per second, but everything to do with meaning, with purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When we assess non-random meaning in texts, we're not looking at statistical distribution at all.
So different tools entirely.
Completely. We're searching for things like thematic unity, narrative cohesion. Does it hang together?
Yeah.
Are there connections between different parts, intertextual links? Is there a clear authorial intent? Think about it.
Yeah.
A truly random collection of words, just jumbled up, it would completely lack those qualities. It'd just be noise.
Like throwing Scrabble tiles in the air, yeah.
Precisely.
And this is where our deep dive into a selection of scriptural verses gets really interesting. Now, some might say finding patterns in old texts is just confirmation bias, right? Seeing what you want to see.
That's a common critique.
But these texts, they come from really diverse sources. You've got history, prophecy, letters, apocalyptic visions. Yet they seem to show this profound thematic coherence. How do you see that playing out?
Well, significantly, I think, you see a really consistent, interconnected worldview running through these verses.
Just feel like, give me an example.
Sure. So take Zephaniah 1.2 and 1 Kings 18.35. They both speak pretty clearly to divine sovereignty, to justice.
Okay.
Then you have Luke 17.33, which talks about human responsibility, that paradox of losing your life to save it. And then there's the promise of restoration in, say, Enoch 10.1, this vision of abundance after judgment. And you even find clear intertextual links, like Enoch 1.4 echoing descriptions of God appearing on Mount Sinai back in Deuteronomy 33.
Wow, okay.
This stuff isn't just coincidence. The connections are too strong, too specific.
So that kind of consistent, interconnected worldview across different authors, different genres over centuries, the odds of that happening if it were genuinely random, it just seems infinitesimally small.
Vanishingly small.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What kind of, intelligence or underlying reality could weave such intricate, consistent meaning together like that?
So wrapping up, we've really looked at two completely different kinds of non-randomness today.
Yeah.
There's the statistical unpredictability that we get from physical chaos, like the radiostatic.
Right, the TRNGs.
And then there's the purposeful, structured meaning we find embedded within human communication, like these texts. Both lack randomness, lack arbitrary chance, but in, well, profoundly different ways.
So it leaves you thinking, what other areas in life, beyond just numbers and text, might actually reveal some kind of hidden design or intentionality if you look closely enough? What stands out to you when you really consider that difference between true chaos and, well, deliberate creation?